All right, I think we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to day 100, 6:30 tonight. It ticks to actually 99, so we're glad to have each of you here. Typically we're doing updates, telling you what we've been focusing on the last 100 days and what we're doing the next 100 days. We've got a little bit of that in store for you today, as well as a few new highlights that we haven't heard or seen yet. So I'm going to turn the floor over to Mark and Allison, and we'll end the press conference with some questions for them.
Well, hello everybody. We're happy to have you here. It is a big day. As much as some of us have not watched the clock tick by second over the last 4 years since we've been at this, it has been ticking away, and we're 100 days off, and we're happy to have the chance to kind of give the community a report on various initiatives and where we stand. But I would just start by saying we feel very, very good about where we are today, 100 days away. I every day am amazed at how the community responds. People pull together to meet every challenge we've confronted so far, and we're in high gear now, and it's just been incredible to watch how the Indianapolis community has responded. Let me start a little more specifically by updating you on the Near East Side Legacy Project, which all of you are aware of, but here's some updated numbers. We now know that more than $154 million will have been invested on the Near East Side in conjunction with the Legacy. I won't go into all those projects unless you want later, but you know, when we first started down this path in consultation with and partnership with the leadership of the Near East Side neighborhood, I think James Taylor said, you know, maybe we could set a goal of something like $100 million, and I thought he was crazy. And sitting here today, I have a spreadsheet that shows that it will be at least $154 million, but that's a big number. What does it really mean? It means that already 156 units of housing have been improved by the project, and we believe that ultimately that number will be more than 250 units, which is a small part of the Near East Side and the St. Clair Place neighborhood, but it's certainly a great boost for the neighborhood. Another big part of the Near East Side initiative has been the Chase Near East Side Legacy Center, which you're aware of on the Tech campus. It is ahead of schedule. It's 70% complete. We expect it to be completed around Christmas Day this year, and we're planning a little sneak preview party and banquet. I think it'll be on January 12th, and then we expect that the commissioner and the league brass will come in and help us formally open it in the period of the Super Bowl. The third leg of the stool of the Near East Side initiative was to spur reinvestment in the key business corridor, East 10th Street. There's a lot going on there. If it hasn't happened in the last week, I think any day now, the St. Clair Place apartments will be opened. That's 50-some units on 10th Street. But sort of the most visible next thing was took a huge step forward with the Lily Day of Service just a couple weeks ago, where kind of the west gateway to East 10th Street at the top of Mass Avenue, where the interstates cross 10th Street. If you go to that area now and take a look, you'll know what we mean. There are murals that are completed. It's been really completely refurbished. It looks great, and it sort of announces to the public as they go from west to east that they're entering the Near East Side in what we think is a more appropriate way. So we're very, very happy about that. Those are just some of the highlights. There's remarkable work going on every day, but I can sit here saying at this moment that I think that the initiative exceeded our expectations at the beginning as of this moment, and yet there's a lot more work to be done. Allison?
I'm going to give you a couple updates on our operational logistics planning. Obviously, with 100 days out, we've sort of moved from our planning phase into final planning and execution. We're starting to put all dot the I's and cross the T's on everything, and really moving this next 2 to 3 weeks into executing all of our plans. One part of that that's critical to our success, we know, is communication to the community and communication on everything that we're doing. And we've started that officially yesterday. We had a meeting with a few hundred businesses at Conseco Fieldhouse to start explaining to them how downtown will operate, how the perimeter will operate, We had another meeting this morning with a smaller group and some of the larger employers in town to make sure we understand their needs on getting their employees to work and getting them home and places to park and so forth. And then we're continuing that on Monday with another downtown business meeting at Conseco Fieldhouse. We are doing frequent updates to our website and certainly through all of our social media to make sure we are pushing out all that information. We're going to be entering into a phase with a variety of ways you can sign up to get email alerts from us, text alerts, and so forth. So we want everybody to know what our planning is, and we're started that education and execution phase. Part of that is a program about 2 weeks ago we started talking about, which is Know Before You Go. And that is a critical part of our planning, and we want everybody to make sure that they are following on that. The advantages of that, that will include all road restrictions. It'll include recommended travel routes, downloadable maps, event parking information, NFL experience and village, park and ride options, and so forth. So in mid-December when we roll that out, there's one click on our website, you can get all that information. It's also going to help out-of-town visitors understand more about how we operate here and what changes we've made for Super Bowl. Another example of moving into execution is our volunteer program. We have been blessed all along with great enthusiasm and great volunteers, and we've moved into just having our volunteers signed up into actually shifting them and training them. We've had one major training session for our volunteers, and our individual training by group is going to start the week of December 9th. We've got 13,000 people in our database. We did open up shifts past the original list into the wait list, so that made a lot of people happy. And we've got about 6,000 people fully signed up for their shifts. They know what day they're coming and where they're going when they volunteer. And we are approaching 43,000 volunteer hours already put into the Super Bowl, and we are expecting, of course, to exceed 150,000 hours. One thing I wanted to mention, this pumpkin was sent to us as a surprise delivery from a Hoosier that's currently living in Lawton, Oklahoma, Kevin Pettigrew, who obviously loves the Super Bowl and loves Indianapolis, and we got that as a special surprise yesterday. So he's got some talent there, even from Oklahoma. We've got a board up here of some key deadlines coming up over the next couple months that we just kind of blew up for you for key things, if you want to reference that. Mark?
Community programs. This is what we've probably talked the most about. It's where a great deal of activity has been focused over the last few years, but a few highlights. And this is hard to do because there are so many. It's really difficult to keep track of them all at this point. But October 6th, with the Lily Day of Service, the goal of planting 2,012 trees on the Near East Side was met. In fact, as of yesterday, I understand that 2,623 trees have been planted, and I'm told that by the end of the fall, when the planting season ends, there'll be more than 2,800. So that goal, which seemed pretty far out there a few years ago, has been not only met but exceeded. A year ago in January, we announced the Super Scarves program. It appears that Allison is modeling one. Again, who knew whether this would have traction, whether there would be a deafening quiet in the response, or whether the challenge to the community of producing 8,000 scarves as gifts to all of our volunteers so that it would be part of their uniform would be achievable when we started. So today, we know that scarves have come in from 3 countries, Canada, England, and South Africa, and 40 states. And as of yesterday, we have 10,617 scarves somewhere in this building, all, I'm sure, neatly stacked in boxes and ready to go. And I'm sure they keep coming in. So since the number of volunteers has increased, that's a good thing. We'll put them all to good use. This, I haven't taken off since I got it. This symbolizes what the women in our community, our leadership is focused on in some respects, the Super Cure initiative, which all of you know about. It's inspiring. The idea is that Indianapolis has this unique asset, which is very much part of our sort of life sciences culture and assets here in Indianapolis, the Susan B. Komen Breast Tissue Bank. And we're going to try to boost it up. And the goal is not just to ensure the contribution of a lot more tissue, which of course is essential to research to defeat cancer that's going on all around the world, but also to raise more money for the tissue bank so that they can do more. The goal is $1 million, and we are very optimistic that the day will come when we'll be able to announce that goal has been met. And just because it's sort of been written about recently, and maybe one of the most recent conspicuous examples of a Super Bowl community program that's taken off is the program called Super City Clean and Green, where 32 parks in this community have been picked up and cleaned up and improved by more than 550 volunteers just in the last few weeks. And I think that's going on even today. Remarkable, really, that folks are so eager to show off their community and improve it under this banner that 32 different parks have been affected in a positive way. We're very proud of that. Those are just some examples. I'm sure you're aware of many of the others.
And today we're launching a new program called XLVI Faces. And as a community, we have accomplished so much, and it's all been due to individual people pulling together to make a real difference. And XLVI Faces is a way to showcase Indiana's greatest assets, which is our people, their integrity, passion, strength, and heart. These are hardworking, great Hoosiers coming together to do great things. And what a great opportunity we have with the Super Bowl to give the rest of the world a little peek into what being a Hoosier is all about. So we have selected 10 folks. We are going to continue to select people over the next 100 days so that we will end up with 43 XLVI faces. One of the themes that we're using in this campaign is the scarf. And we, as a staff, and I know a lot of the people that have been working on the SCARF program, really look at the scarf as a symbol of the spirit of volunteerism, that people would knit a scarf for someone that they have never met and will and likely never meet, just to make sure that they're warm while they're working outside here for Super Bowl. So the scarf will be used in our campaign. Some of these folks are here with us today, and I am very excited to introduce them to you. So I'm going to kind of have you guys stand up and wave, okay? First is Valerie Davis, and she's the Near East Side Legacy Project homeowner. She's been with us for a long time, I think 2.5 years, working on the Near East Side. And what we've done with each of these folks is they've got a video on our website, and they're just amazing people, and I really encourage you to go to the site so that you can really learn more about them individually. So we've got Valerie, and she's got her daughter here today. Luke Houston is with us today. He was a Super Bowl student ambassador that got to deliver the bid to the Carolina Panthers. And
he was 4'2" back then.
Yeah. We've had to order them new shirts. Luke is in our office all the time helping. He's an amazing young man and a great role model for so many. So Luke is one of our representatives for the FACES program. Gigi Cabello. She is a senior at Ben Davis High School. And I will tell you that she's a heck of a flute player, and you need to watch her video if you want to see more about that, but don't miss it. Felicia Ferguson is with us today. She is our Super Bowl volunteer extraordinaire. She's on 4 committees, and I don't believe she has any other life right now than doing things for the Super Bowl, all as a volunteer and all with a smile on her face. We have our own Lisa Talley. Lisa was the 2nd employee of the Super Bowl host committee. And Lisa, her customer service skills are exceptional, and she keeps all the staff on task and in line every day, and she's a lot of fun. Joe Matthews. Joe has been with us a long time. He's the co-chair of the Near East Side Legacy Center Committee, and was one of the very first co-chairs that we picked over 3 years ago. James Taylor recommended him, and he has just been a huge asset to us. Sunil Deo is over there, came in a little bit late. He is a chef at West Market Fish Grill at the Hilton, and he is a Super Service and Rose Award winner, so we're thrilled to have him here with us today. And then we've got 3 folks that aren't here. Tracy Runge, who's a breast cancer survivor and part of our Super Cure program. Bev Meska, don't miss her video. She has knit 260 scarves, and she lives in Michigan City, Indiana, and she's 82 years old. And it's remarkable. And then Anika Sykes, part of our team legacy, is a high school student at Arsenal Tech High School and part of our First and Green Corps. So I got everybody that's here, right? Didn't miss anybody? So we've got 10 folks that we rolled out today, and as I said, we'll be continuing to add to that. You can nominate on our website, and the common theme with all of them is that their lives have somehow intersected with our Super Bowl planning over the last 4 years. Our first group is all from different parts of our planning, and I'm sure it's going to continue to be that way, so I want to congratulate all the folks that were selected, and look forward to the rest coming.
Handsome group.
It is a handsome group.
All right, I want to talk a little bit about the Super Bowl Village, which we've hinted at for some time. I'm going to give you a little bit more of the specifics, but more will come out over time. As you know, that we think of the Village essentially as the 3-block-long Georgia Street with Conseco Fieldhouse and Pennsylvania on the east end, and it goes west to Capitol and the new entrance to the Convention Center. As you know, it began to open for vehicular traffic, I think, yesterday, and if you've had the chance to walk out there, you get a sense of what it'll be like. Let me repeat that it was not built for the Super Bowl. The taxpayers' money was used to create a permanent asset. We're just going to be the second big party that occurs on it. The reasons for the creation or for this investment on Georgia Street are so that the ICVA will have additional assets to market to conventioneers along with our convention center when they attract tourists and conventions to come here. We'll have an additional place along with the Circle and a few others where we can have our great festivals over time. We'll have additional option for the parties that we throw for us. And finally, we hope that over time as a city, there'll be more content in our kind of nightlife district. There'll be more food and beverage places that serve there and out there over a period of time. But for us, it represents this new stage, this new really important geography that we want to turn into part of the what people remember about the Super Bowl in Indianapolis, the Super Bowl Village. So let me just give you some of the basics and then a couple of the specifics. We're gonna have a big kickoff and open the party 10 days before the Super Bowl on Friday, January 27th. So it runs from the Friday before the Super Bowl up until game day on February 5th. The hours will be they're subject to some change, but on the weekends we expect it'll be open and at full tilt by about 11 a.m. and go into the night as long as the city will let us go. And on weekends, we see it starting maybe more like, weekends will start at 11 a.m. and go into the night. Weekdays, it's likely to start in the afternoon, maybe 3 o'clock, and then go into the night for that 10-day period. It's free to go out and play in this ambiance, will not cost you anything, and we're going to do a lot to make sure that folks, Hoosiers all over the state, not to mention everybody in Indianapolis, knows about it and has the chance to come down and have some fun. We're even going to try to market it, especially for the first weekend, to football fans who may not have a team in the game around the region. So you can imagine that places like Cincinnati and Cleveland and elsewhere may have a special interest in this ambiance. A couple of specifics. So this view over here is actually not looking so much right down the Village. The Village is sort of to your left. This is the intersection of Georgia and Capitol. But if you were standing where this is taken from and looking south on Capitol, the entrance to the convention center is sort of in the front of the picture on the right. And you're looking south toward Lucas Oil Stadium, which you can sort of see top right. If you can look back into the background, you see this tower there. And that tower is about 7 stories tall, right in front of the CSX overpass. And that's where the brave souls who wish to do this will go up and get on one of 4 zip lines. And the zip lines will go from 7 stories up all the way down and essentially to the end of the convention center to the north. There'll be 4 of them. This is not free. This is going to cost, I think, $10 per person. This is not a completely original idea. We pretty much shamelessly stole it from the Vancouver Olympics, where there were 4-hour lines for the people who wanted to experience this thrill. Allison said I ought to be the first one down. I thought, well, if I am and I've got to climb up 7 stories, I'll be sweaty by the time I get there, and I'll be an icicle by the time I get to the bottom. we'll see how that works out. But we know this is going to be a lot of fun, and I think be among the attractions. There are 2 stages on Georgia Street. One of them is at the big one is on the Penn and Georgia intersection down by Conseco Fieldhouse. This is a stage adequate to work for any band in the world. So any act would be happy to be on this stage, and there'll be some significant ones. The second stage, a little bit smaller, is going to be at the basically Meridian and Georgia Street intersection. It'll be for music, but also events. We hope to honor special folks and special themes from around the state on given days on a particular schedule. We expect that there'll be something like 80 bands over the 10 days, and there'll be local bands, there'll be regional bands, and there'll be some national acts that even I will have heard of. So we'll be making more specific announcements about that as time goes on, but I know a few of them, and I think it's going to be really exciting content for us. We've talked about it in general terms. The rest of it outside is basically food and beverage and other kind of amusements themed around the Super Bowl and the NFL. You can imagine the building wraps and look, if you will, that gets applied by the league and us together. This drawing has 3 Indy cars that will be down on the west end of Georgia Street at the intersection with Capitol. So people will be zipping over them, and they'll be all decked out in NFL look. We expect something like that turf field in front of the Indiana Sports Corporation building on Capitol, where we think we can celebrate football here and have the opportunity for kids and families to come for football-related programming, clinics, and that sort of thing. So that's just meant to tease you. We've got 100 days to roll out more detail, but I'm really excited about it. I think people will leave, whether it's us, whether we go to the game or not, we'll come down and we'll have fun over the 10-day period. We hope that most Hoosiers focus on the first 6 days, because on Thursday before the game is when the 4-day minimum for people taking hotels starts. And basically it's that Thursday before the game when our visitors arrive in full force. And I think they'll probably they'll be spending a lot of time on this space. And so we hope Hoosiers will take in most of it in those sort of first week and then make a little more room for our visitors in the 4 days leading up to the game. It should be very, very exciting. I think that's pretty much what we wanted to tease you with today. We're happy to take any questions.
Can you so teased, but I don't see any snow in there.
There is snow.
Yeah, well, I actually wanted them to get the snow out of there. There is snow.
What about snow?
So the question is, what about snow? In terms of the village, that's, I'm not worried about being able to deal with inclement weather over the 3 blocks, right? Again, some of this has been lifted from the Winter Olympics. We think people will embrace the weather, come out and have a good time, and snow is you know, do our kids have fun when it snows? We can have fun in the snow. I have no doubt about that. I forgot to mention that if you walk Georgia Street, there's this catenary system. Normally that's there because it supplies power. You can plug into that street just as if you're in the convention center. And you can also rig lights, which is a hint, and sound and other things from the catenary system. But in addition to that, we will hang radiant heaters that provide the kind of heat you expect if you walk under the porte cochere for a hotel. So it's not cover from the snow. It may get on you, but it does have a warming effect, and it spreads out around an area underneath it. So we're not worried about snow. It's really a bigger issue, right? And we've talked previously about our weather response team, which is we get briefed on regularly, and they are very geared up to deal with all the possible inclement weather conditions, not just for Georgia Street, but for the whole area from the 13 airports that are involved all the way down to Georgia Street.
Can you put to rest once and for all, did Madonna beat Lady Gaga out to be the halftime performer at Lucas Oil?
No.
She did not.
No, I can't put it to rest. My understanding is that the league has made no formal announcement. So that's our story, and we're sticking to it.
But Madonna Rama is reporting today that Madonna is in fact in, and she's going to do 5 songs, and you don't know anything
Well, then
about
you
that.
can quote Madonna Rama,
We have.
but not us.
We'd love to quote
The
you.
decision about the game entertainment rests completely in the hands of the league, and they will make an announcement when they're ready to make an announcement.
Do you have any insight when that will be? I mean, Madonna Rama is just the latest of several to report this.
I think it'll be in the next 30 days that they will announce the halftime.
Back on Georgia Street, like Rich, I consider myself teased, but can you be any more specific about how you theme the food and beverage to the event? I recall the original proposal, you were looking to have the Steelers Pavilion, the Titans Pavilion, and so forth. Has that gone back to boards, or what form does that take?
I don't know that we're going to go to that extent to divide it by teams. There'll be a lot of different variety and different options, and the decor will be themed. I don't know that the food will be themed.
There is also a tailgate section, which is not a yes to your question, that I thought was going to be shown in here, that I think is going to be out under the zip lines on Capitol Street. But that's more traditional tailgate. It's not team or conference specific.
Will the convention center be utilized inside?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I probably should have led with this. I think everybody most understand that inside the convention center is the NFL experience, and this deserves to be noted. It's meant to work completely hand in glove with the Georgia Super Bowl Village. So the NFL experience is like 800,000 square feet. It's the NFL's interactive football park or amusement park around football in the convention center, and it's very much for families. Importantly, it runs exactly the same days and essentially the same hours as the Village is open. So if you're playing in the NFLX, for which you will pay, and you come out and you want more, then it'll dump you right into the Super Bowl Village on Georgia Street, or while you're waiting to use your ticket to go inside, you can have a free experience on Georgia Street.
How many people do you expect in this area at its peak times? People are throwing a number of 100,000 people being in there all at one time. Is that, how many people are you expecting?
Well, not 100,000 because they won't fit on Georgia Street. I think that our staff's doing a good job right now figuring out what all the specific things are in the space and then how many people it will hold. So I don't know that I have a real number for you, especially because you can spill north and south on Illinois, on Meridian, and on Penn. I don't know, Sean, you want to help me? 30, 40,000? Yeah.
This is like a couple 100,000 for NFLX.
Yeah.
There is an estimate for the NFL experience, which is about 200,000 people over its 10-day run. So it's hard for me to imagine that you go to the NFL experience and you're not on Georgia Street. But as to how many go or fit at any one time, we don't have an estimate.
So I'm just trying to visualize this. You've got the bands probably not stop from the sound of it. You've got food and drink. What else will there be outside as opposed to inside? Or is it just the communal experience of it all?
We're going to have some large screen televisions, big screens there, that we will be feeding programming to. There's 3 or 4 that will be out there. And a lot of the activities that we're planning will have some interaction or focus with the screens, as well as the concerts will be able to be shown. So if you're not right in front of the stage and you're back, you can still use the screen. So we don't want to give away all our secrets just yet, but sorry.
You got 100 days to keep
we got
you
100 days to
amused,
go.
Rich.
Yeah.
Next. Great.
Just playing devil's advocate, and Rich mentioned there's no snow in these pictures. I mean, in some of these pictures, this guy's wearing a hoodie. And it's February, and those heaters, like, when they're shut off, it warms up the place, but then they're shut off for 4 hours, and all of a sudden there's a layer of ice the next morning. Have you considered every single inclement weather scenario that you can? I mean, whether
Yes.
it's game day and nobody's used the Village, nobody's used Georgia Street because
Yeah, that's not going to
it's a blizzard
happen.
outside.
I think we've considered every weather possibility. including tornadoes, which have hit in February. I'm serious. That's a little hard to plan for. But I think that the Weather Preparedness Committee has looked at every weather scenario back to the turn of the prior century, and it has made plans to deal with that. I think what you may be asking is less about whether we can clear the space, because we know we can clear the space, and more about whether people come out and have fun. And we absolutely believe that they will. Go tell a tailgater in Green Bay that they don't want to have fun before a game because it's cold outside. Go to a Winter Olympics. People, knowing that it's going to be cold, get dressed for it. Our volunteers will certainly be dressed for it, and will come out and have a great time. And there will also be some places along the street we'll talk about more, and off the street, where you can go in and warm up and get out of it for a while if you choose to. So we think people will absolutely embrace the weather.
Can you tell us about the app? Do you have an app?
Yep. The app will be rolled out soon after January 1st, and it's a combined host committee NFL app. So if you went to the Super Bowl last year, I believe the branding on it was the Van Heusen app, and it is going to be a much more user-friendly, beefed-up app with the host committee adding information to it so that it's very local as well as NFL-oriented.
That'll be free?
Yes.
Okay, thank you all very much.
We'll see you on day 46, December 21st.